Hello, everybody. This is Ashley with Publish with Ashley, and I am so sorry you can't see me. Usually, I'm in the corner and I'm when I'm doing a screen share, but today my camera is just not working. But I wanted to make sure I got you this content, and really, it's the screen that is important because that I want to show you things. So listen to my voice and watch the screen. And sorry, I'm not with you there on camera, but that's okay. All right. So today if you've been following along, this is the third part in my Q4 Creation and Marketing Challenge. And today we're going to be talking about Pinterest. We talked about the first day, kind of what book creation, what kind of books you want to create. And yesterday it was A+ content marketing, and today is Pinterest marketing. But before we go to Pinterest marketing, I wanted to share something about A+ content marketing. Now, I want to make sure you know you need to read the A+ content guidelines. And I was going through it last night, and I did want to point something out that maybe I hadn't made clear, or maybe I wasn't as clear as I should have been. But it does say that they want you to use images must be unique to A+ content. Yes, we're creating our own images, but what I was thinking is, you know how I was showing you how to do the entire banner of all your different books? What you want to do to make it unique is put your book that you're advertising in that particular book at the very front, and then that way every time it would be unique. So you just put your book that is particular to this page, kind of in a larger size, and then your other books within that brand, within that same niche market, that you could put those after. And then that way it would definitely make sure it follows the guidelines. You know, you're always being safe and doing that. So I did want to say that. It does say only use one brand logo. What that means is don't try and put two brands on there. So I had Ashley Smith. You don't want like Ashley Smith and then so-and-so publishing somewhere else. You just want to keep to one brand name. All right, I just wanted to make sure I made that clear. So we're going to talk about Pinterest marketing. Pinterest marketing, there are so many aspects to this. And I'm going to kind of show you what I'm thinking and what works well for low content books. But Pinterest marketing, even if you've seen this slide before, I know I've shown it in different things, or at least parts of it, it is something that you should listen to YouTube videos for other people, and you're just going to get more and more nuggets because Pinterest marketing is a lot. So this is really, yet again, kind of an overview what to do, and with some examples, and not necessarily specifically how to do, because there is so much to learn with Pinterest. But I think if you're a newbie, you can start small and just do a little bit and then learn a bit. Do a little bit and learn a bit. You don't have to learn everything about Pinterest before you can jump in and just start doing on Pinterest. So let's go through this. Pinterest basics. You want to go create a free business Pinterest account, and you want it to be a free business Pinterest account because the business ones let you have analytics. So you definitely want to make sure it's a business. You can convert a personal to a business if you are an organized human being and it makes sense. My personal Pinterest board is an absolute disaster and mess that makes no sense to anyone but me. So I have like 2 business Pinterest accounts. So I created those separately. So I have like 3 accounts in my Pinterest logon, and I can change between any of those. Now, you're going to go, this is kind of saying you can go up to the top, click on the 3 dots, and you can add another account like I did I had a Pinterest personal account, and I added another free business account. They're free, so don't be stressed about that. Definitely add the free. Fill out your business brand info, upload your logo, fill out any other info, just, fill out the basics of what it says to do. And then, yes, start pinning. Let's talk a little bit about Pinterest terminology, just in case this is totally new to you. A pin is something you create yourself. Like it's something that's created and that's new to Pinterest. A repin is something you find on Pinterest and you repin it. So you're just putting it on your boards from some other pin that someone else has created on Pinterest. Board, I think of them as like file folders on your computer. So it groups things. And in this case, since you're doing business, you really want to think of it as grouping a niche or a certain type of subject. Okay, how do you start pinning? So if you're starting a completely new Pinterest business account, you want to start with 10 boards around your niche and what your audience would be interested in. So this kind of comes up when you're doing that keyword research. What is your audience interested in? What type of things are your books there to describe? But what else are they interested in? Now, a great example in the health and wellness niche would be, my first board could be like healthy recipes. My second board would be exercise tips, healthy inspirations, healthy meal prep, health and beauty tips, relaxation techniques, wellness quotes. Quotes are a great thing to add. You just want to have quotes that are of interest to your particular audience. Wellness tips, great places to hike, and family outdoor activities. So as you can see, these are all really focused around the health and wellness niche. So somebody who's interested in health and wellness, they're probably going to find a few of my boards interesting, maybe all of them, right? So you want to focus down on a specific audience. Now, you don't have to have everything focused exactly on health and wellness. You could have some extra boards that are cursory or not exactly in the niche, but don't contradict it. Like, you aren't going to put, racy coloring books for adults in the same section. You're going to put in another board, you're going to put like ones for kids. Don't cross niche like that. But if I was going to talk about healthy stuff and then I talked about camping, that wouldn't be too odd, because people who are healthy, a lot of them do like to spend time outdoors. So that's not too outside the realm, and it's not going to really offend anyone who's a healthy and wellness person. Camping is generally considered like a healthy activity. You can go outside. The thing with keeping specifically to kind of a more focused pinning board is that you are going to draw more people, your audience, to your boards. If you're kind of all over the place, you aren't going to draw the focus that you want. So just remember that if you want to be focused on a specific audience, which is what we're doing with the Q4 challenge, you're going to start with a much more focused boards that are really focused around a specific audience and what they would be interested in. So these are just examples so that you can kind of get ideas. Now, how do you start pinning? Kind of the strategy for this is you want to create 10 pins on each board over a few days. You really, Pinterest 30 to 40 is kind of the max. If you go over that, it doesn't really help your account. But Pinterest does like consistency. So if you create a bunch of pins, then you put them a few on each day. Even if you only have time for 10 a day, that's perfectly fine. If you continually pin then and build up your boards, you're going to gain momentum. Now, you want to repin about 5 to 10 pins on each board. So you want to always make sure to click on the pin you want to repin and check out the site. You always want your links to actually go somewhere. And then you also want to make sure that it is something that's valid. So if it looks a little not good, like you're doing health and wellness and you click on the pin and it actually takes you to like somewhere it shouldn't, or looks wrong and it doesn't look very health and wellness, then maybe don't use that pin. So remember, repins are things that other people have out there, and you are going to pin those to your boards. The reason you're doing that is because it's to show activity. Pinterest wants you to get out there and curate things that will be appropriate to a specific audience. So if you're using other people's pins and putting them on your boards, if it's the same audience, those are good ones to use. Now, don't be concerned that you're advertising somebody else. Don't think of it that way. Think of it as curating information for your audience. Yes, you want your stuff, but it does not hurt to have other people's stuff on there. Think of it as putting good out into the universe. It's just showing activity. It's trying to get good things for your audience. The more good things and curated data you could have for your audience, the more Pinterest will love you, for lack of a better word. But they like to have stuff that is, curated for a specific audience. Now, continue to pin on your, you can pin blog posts if you have blog posts, if you have a blog or a website or something or your products to your boards. So you want to make sure all of your 10 books that we have done have at least one pin on each of the boards that is appropriate, but more than likely you can do several versions. You can do your products lots of times, but you want to make sure you change up the pin. You have either a new title or a new picture, something to make it different. Remember, Pinterest, Google, all of that, they use image recognition. So if it looks the same and you're just repinning the same stuff over and over again, you're not doing yourself any good. You can pin like to the same link, but you can't really, you don't want to pin things that look the same over and over and over again. You want to kind of change them up, the wording, the picture, that sort of thing. All right. Tips. You want to try and pin or repin something every day. Consistency is very important to Pinterest. You can schedule your pins. So let's say you have a bunch of them and you want to make sure they go out on a daily basis, you can schedule them. You don't want to do more than 40 pins a day, which is a lot. Pinterest is great and it works really well if you are consistent, but yeah, it can be some work. Remember, this is a free advertising venue, okay? So free generally means you're trading your time. In this case, it is a very effective trade of your time once you get better at making the very eye-catching pins and really focusing down on your niche. It is a very, very effective way to get to your audience for free. Tall and thin pins display best on Pinterest, and Pinterest likes those. I know there's some things about Pinterest stories and they're new, but really those don't let you link to somewhere, and so you really want to stick to the pins, and you want them to be the 2 to 3 ratio size. So if you're doing inches, 2 inches across and 3 inches tall. So you want that tall and thin pins. Like an example for pixels, 1,000 pixels by 1,500 pixels. You can use canva.com. It is a great free resource and it's very easy to use. Try video pins. You can make those on canva.com or PowerPoint. It depends on your audience. I found Pinterest says that video pins do really, really well. I found for my audience, because my audience tends to be a little bit older, they did not like video pins. Video pins did not perform well for my audience, but that does not mean it won't perform well for your audience. So those are worth a try. You can check out my YouTube channel. I have a whole playlist on Pinterest that goes into a little bit more detail, but this is kind of how to get started. So let's go over to Pinterest. Let's see. Yeah, I think that's what my next, go to Pinterest. That's what my next slide says. So I'm going to go over here and kind of walk you through. So my example was camping, right? So I started by typing camping book. And what I kind of found is what a lot of people do, and it's kind of the don't do this. They have just a picture of the book, which isn't bad. This is okay, but it really doesn't grab anyone's attention. This is a good one. See, camping recipes, foil packet cooking. And then it says 100 foil packets recipes for campfires and grills. And then it has their name. So that's actually pretty good because this actually points to a website, not a product. But let's say you did have a camping recipes. Something like this would be a really good catchy pin. And then it would take them directly to the product page. And that's kind of, they'd be like, oh, wow, here's a book with 100 recipes that I can buy. These were really fun. I loved these. See how this has like a bunch of books and then it says 12 camping for little kids. So what you could do, you don't want to be, I hate kind of the clickbait where I see something that catches my eye and I click on it and it doesn't take me to those things. What I would definitely do is have my book, the one I wanted that this pin went to, big. I would have it the biggest one, and then I would have maybe some little of the books on the outside, and then I would make sure to have my my brand name, my pen name across the bottom, or if I had a website, my website across the bottom. So that way, if they were looking for one of those books specifically, they could find it rather than being upset because they couldn't find it. And I also think when you showcase the book big, like the biggest book, then when it takes it to that book, they're not all that surprised. They're like, oh yeah, that was the biggest book on this pin. So yeah, that makes sense why that was. These are good. You could have showcasing a few of your interior pages. and say stuff like color and count gone, camping, boredom buster, right? This is actually a really great pin. Sorry, I'm highlighting it as I'm putting my thing, but this is a really great pin, and it looks like it's a video pin. So if you clicked on it, it might show a few different pages. So this would be a really great pin that would show an interior of your book, and then it would take them to that book on Amazon. So that's a really good thing to say. So you wouldn't say download now, you'd be like, come check it out now, or something like that. Get now, or something. If you were doing kids books, these are kind of fun. Flat Stanley is a brand type book. My daughter used to read those, so don't use the name, but like something like this, you know, you could have your kids books, you know, showcase like this. This would be a really great way to showcase your kids books if that was the sort of thing. Here's another one. This is nice. See, it's like 12 outdoor books. You could take them directly if you had an author page. This would be a way to showcase several of your books and take them to your author page where they could see all those books. And that wouldn't feel deceptive to me. If I saw these 3 books and then it took me to someone's author page with all their books, you know, I wouldn't feel like I was cheated, like I clicked and I didn't get to where I wanted to go. So look through here. Some of these are good. Like I said, I love when they have something across it, something that catches your attention. You always also want to include your brand name, or if you have a website across it. So like this one says 62 at home escape room puzzles and has lockpaperscissors.co, right? You always want to include somewhere your brand name or your website so that people can find you if they do want to find you. But look through, and some of these are really great. Here's another one, fun. So this would be fun printables, but you could do fun kids camping journal and then some of the pages, right? And then take them to the Amazon page where they could purchase that. All right, so those are some examples. I wanted to show you another one I found. And this for around the world travel. I was just looking at different things, and their pictures and things were really eye-catching, but I wanted to show you 2 things. This is their Pinterest. If you hit follow, you can follow them. And what this part is, if you go click on saved, created is the ones they've just most recently created. Saved is their boards. So you can see this one is shockingly, or maybe not so shockingly, all about travel. So when I'm talking about those niches and trying to focus on a specific type niche to get your audience, these are all travel. And they do have kids, so they have a lot of best family places, travel tips, traveling with kids, you know, Disney, Disneyland, those are very popular with kids and families. They have a lot of different things that if I was a parent who traveled, which I am, these are some really interesting things. And you can see some of these are very specific, destination Spain, destination Canada, because they are trying to get focus on that. And so somebody who's interested in traveling to Spain with kids, this is great for them, right? So when you look and find pins you like and that are very eye-catching, theirs were really good. Let me go to created and show you some of their pins. See, they have very eye-catching pins, things written, 18 places to celebrate. People love lists, right? The ultimate family road trips in Europe. They just have a lot of very eye-catching with colors and very bold and bright. This sort of thing really catches people's eye and makes them want to click. Okay, and that's exactly what you want them to do. You want people to click so they go to basically your product page on Amazon in this case. All right, so let me show you another one. This is Moms Who Save, and I really again liked they have, this is definitely focused on, you can see it's like teachers and parents and projects and crafting. So it's still kind of the same audience, parents and crafting, but theirs is a little bit more spread out. But what I really liked is they get a lot of views. This Moms Who Save gets a lot of views. They are very active. And what I really liked was this, their created page. When you look down, what I really liked about theirs, and I think they do really well, is notice, yes, everything's eye-catching, really nice. Yet again, this is a good example. You could do something like this to show pages in your book. And then look, every single one of these, or pretty much every single one, somewhere has momswhosave.com. Okay, it is, like I said, very important to always showcase your website, your author page, your brand name, something, because you want people to continually see that, and then that way it's getting eyes of your name, your brand out in front of people. To get and build brand awareness, they have to see it a lot of times. So even if it's small, or just, it should be there somewhere. And I really like that too. Not only that, let's say they just pin this and they never click. I have a few of those where I've just pinned it because I like the picture, and then I've gone directly to their web page because it had, something like this, Moms Who Save, and I went directly to their web page versus trying to click and to the specific thing. I wanted to check out their actual web page, but I wouldn't have been able to do that if the pin itself did not have it very obvious and very easy for me to read. So this is one I really liked because I think they do a really good job. Now I know your product is books, but it does give you ideas. Anything with printables should give you a great idea. You have a few of your pages, and then you have that 3D picture of your book so that people know it's a book and not just printables. That's good to kind of get people in that mindset. All right, let's look at this last one, Stories by Story. This one is really focused at teachers. Like, I love their board names because it's very teacher oriented. So this is like, and it could be parent as well, parent with kids. It's very teacher, arts and crafts and STEM and STEAM and things like that. These are great ideas to show you what kind of boards you can have in this niche, because it is just really focused on that sort of thing. Now, here's something I wanted to make sure and show you. So I know some of you do merch. I do merch. So you could do something like this. You could showcase t-shirts, your t-shirts on Pinterest. So you're creating this audience who's going to come there for books. But if you're doing merch by Amazon, you should definitely, and you should make t-shirts as well in that same niche so that you can showcase them on your Pinterest board and just have this is 100th day for teachers, 100 days of school, and there's a lot of people have t-shirts and kids make t-shirts and things like that. But let's say I was doing the camping niche, I could have one that said funny camping t-shirts or funny camping stuff. And I could have t-shirts. I could put the other merch by Amazon, like phone cases or totes or different things. I could have various things on this board. And that's definitely something you can do. So it's kind of a bonus to kind of think it's this whole niche concept. All right. Well, that is kind of what I wanted to show you with Pinterest. And I wanted to make sure that you knew that Pinterest, there's a lot to Pinterest. So this is just really that cursory overview to get your mind thinking of how you can use Pinterest, how you can market for free. Pinterest is I really like Pinterest because it takes you to your product. So if I see a book and I see that I know I'm going to have to buy it, right? The printables, I may see download free printables. And so that's not what you're going for. You don't want to deceive somebody. You want them to look at and see that it's a book. But a lot of people use Pinterest to buy and plan their purchases. I guess not really a buy, but plan their purchases that they are going to buy. I know I do it when I'm looking for gifts for my kids, gifts for friends. I'll have gifts, and then I just put a bunch of things in gifts. That way I have ideas, and then I'll go use Pinterest to go to purchase those items online, or if it's to a particular store, then I'll buy them at the store or something like that. But Pinterest is a really great way because it gives a lot of visibility to people about your products. It is a way to build a brand. Like I said, you want to make sure to include your brand name on every single pin, and that way you can build that brand up so that people recognize you. I'm in parent and camping and kind of those type of niches on Pinterest. So I definitely recognize some brands when I'm going through. I'm like, oh, I know them. I've seen their blog. I've seen their stuff. I've seen their products, because I'm very aware, because I've seen their stuff over and over again when I'm searching for things that I am interested in. So that is something that you can do as well. You just have to spend the time and build up Pinterest by doing these things, okay? Consistency. Consistency is really, really important in Pinterest. I was really consistent during Q4 because that's what I was trying to advertise, stuff for that's Q4. And I was really consistent, and my Pinterest account grew really quickly. Now I haven't been pinning because the stuff that's on my board really is a Q4 type selling thing, so I haven't. But you want to start early, so I'm going to start building up my Pinterest board and interest again in October, so that I can kind of by December, it's really kind of flowing well. And then that way, when people purchase things in December, and also my items get purchased in January, that those 2 months, I've gained momentum. I probably should pin all year round, but I will admit that there's only so many hours in a day. So I know when I need to push, and maybe you push year round, maybe you push at Q4. It really depends on you and your schedule and how you want to do your business. Remember, this is important to you. It's your business. You don't have to do all the things all the time. Decide what is important to you and when it is important to you, and do those things as best you can with some consistency, and you'll eventually succeed, or you will succeed quicker than you thought you would. That is all I have for today. I hope this was informative and helpful. And like I said, I only kind of touched the tip of the iceberg on Pinterest. There is a lot to learn, but this is really to get you thinking. So thank you so much for being here. This is Published with Ashley. Please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I will see you in my next video.